sexual, and we're running out of time,
Yeah.
so do you want to go through this quickly?
You go.
Okay. So sexy is not how we look a certain way. Sexuality is who we are, and we bring all of ourselves to that. You can still have a bad body image and be working on that and feeling sexual.
Yes, that is something actually I wanted to touch on. I think I may have brought it up, so stop me if you've heard it. But like I just said, I just recently had sex with this guy, and I was hating my body, but I was still feeling sexy. I was still able to be in the moment with him and feel my sexuality, even though I was very aware of my roles. And by roles, I don't mean play roles. I mean fat roles. And I was still able to enjoy that experience. It is inherent in who we are that we are sensual beings. And so that's going to come out. And you can still work on your body image and still feel sexy. You can still have those days where I just feel gross. I'm PMSing, I hate everybody, and I hate my vagina. And you can still feel sexy. Because we all have those thoughts. We all do.
I never hate my vagina.
Well, no. This would be the exception. This powerful woman right here. But owning your sensuality is palpable. When you feel it inside, other people do. And that's what they call confidence, or that's a part of what they call confidence. And it creates sexual attraction and chemistry with the people that you want to attract, the people who want to feel that and who feel that in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love these slides, Jayla. Thank you.
This is part of a body project, because a lot of times we throw around words like obese and overweight without, and it goes back to what we were saying before, people go, I'm concerned about your health. Well, medically, these are people who are morbidly obese, and overweight. And you can see they just look like everybody else. They're not monsters, they're not freaks of nature, they're all regular, functioning women.
You pass on the street.
Yeah. And I love this slide because it shows that it's normal. They're normal functioning women. And a lot of times we throw out words like, oh, I don't want to be obese, and it's a number, it's a calculation. There's a BMI chart, and it's just your weight and your height, and that gives you a number, and then they assign going up. Higher is more obese, and lower goes to, it's morbidly obese, overweight, and then there's the normal weight, and then there's underweight. And there are numbers on a chart. It's not who you are. It's not are you a good person. It's not are you a bad person. It's just numbers on a chart.
Yeah, and that was really powerful for me. There's a lot, just to address the myth of you can't be overweight and healthy. There's some new studies come out where they say that you can be fat and be healthy. It's about the fitness of the person. And you can be skinny and unhealthy, which makes a lot of sense. But the doctors seem to have always focused on the numbers on the scale, which is a really quick way for them to evaluate you. And weight's a really easy scapegoat for all the problems going on. So they can just kind of point at that and say, it's your problem, go fix it, or take this drug.
It's also interesting that the medical reasons for being afraid that somebody is overweight are almost exactly the same as the medical reasons that we're afraid when people are underweight. But we have people striving to be underweight. Everybody wants to be 5'10" and weigh 89 pounds, which is medically a bit dangerous. So I feel like when people can't say fat and healthy in the same sentence, what they're really doing is moralizing bodies. They're basically saying you can't be diligent about your body and serious about your health if you're fat, because fat people are fat, because sloth is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it's ingrained in us that we're like this because we're lazy and we can't take responsibility for ourselves. But I've done fitness tests with some of my smaller friends, and they're kind of sometimes they get a little angry because they're like, they couldn't finish and I could. I was like, well, I had to do a lot of cardio, you know.
Yeah.
You can hold your weight up on a pole.
Yeah.
So fitness, I think, is important to talk about. And I just say, I think everybody should work out no matter what their size is, because I love moving my body, and that's just me. I've been dancing since I was like 3, and it always just made me feel good, not because I was losing weight, just because I like moving, and probably why I like having sex so much, or the orgasms, either way. I think once you can say, I strive to be healthy instead of I strive to be thin, your health becomes what's at the forefront and not a physical ideal. And I think that's a much healthier mindset than be thin, because thin is beautiful and health is beautiful. Health isn't beautiful, it's a state of your body.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We want to make sure we have some time for questions. I don't want to leave people in a negative space, though. I wanted to talk about that, but you can build your confidence just like you build muscles in the gym. You can start sharing your fears with friends. When they get out of your head, they're not so big anymore. And you find out other people say that, oh, me too.
People you trust,
Yeah, and you can practice feeling sexy. As awkward as that sounds, the first time I put on a burlesque DVD, I was alone in my living room and I was beat red and awkward. But you can kind of get out there. I mean, Jayla, you're already practicing that, which is beautiful. But you can, what is it that you've been waiting till you're skinny to do? Or waiting till you're perfect to do? Or waiting till the zit clears on your forehead or your chin or whatever? What have you been waiting to do? Get out there and do it now. Whether it's dating, dressing up, working out, socializing, just get out there and start doing it. And start challenging the voices in your head and start feeding yourself nicer words. Practice. Look in the mirror and say something nice to yourself.
Or say something neutral if you can't think of something nice to yourself. Just don't say something negative. And another powerful thing to do for people who don't like their bodies is to hang around your house naked. And it sounds easy, and it also can sound a little trite, but I didn't do that till recently, and let me just tell you, it's fantastic. Because you may not have those days where you like your body and you have makeup on or whatever, your hair's dirty, and you catch yourself in the mirror, and you just go, all right, Some days it's just, oh, I'm there. I'm alive. And some days it's like, I look pretty good. Getting comfortable with seeing yourself naked, there is nothing more powerful than looking at your body naked objectively first. That's important. Again, don't go from A to Z immediately. Look at yourself objectively first. I have nice skin, I have nice hair, I have nice, my mother used to say, you have such nice nail beds. And I was like 6. So, there's always something, and then from that it grows.
For me, I think it's important to know that confidence isn't like a set destination. I think it's like the whole journey of just getting okay with yourself. Because, like I said, I swing around and I perform, and there are days where, I have ADHD, so they put me on a medicine, and I took it and made my face break out, and I called out of work. I didn't want to be seen, and then I realized, like, this is so silly, because A, I'm an adult woman, and that's not the proper way to respond, but I just realized that, like, nobody cares at my job how pretty I am. It's basically me having to deal with myself, and I had to realize that I was using, people are gonna look at me and think bad. That was my excuse I was using. Really, it was, I'm not okay with what I look like right now. And I think once I was able to vocalize that, even to myself, I just put my hair up, put my clothes on, I was able to go to work. So everybody has their bad days, even like the people that you might think are the most confident, like, we all have bad days. And you shouldn't take those bad days as meaning, oh, this is how I'm gonna feel forever, because you're gonna have a good day eventually.
Thank you. So we'd like to have time for questions and comments. Yes?
I wanted to throw a couple comments out there. I've struggled with body image issues for a long time, and it's funny because I talked to some of because I grew tall fast, because I got a belly all of a sudden, because when my tits finally did come in, they weren't very big, but still stretch marks everywhere. It's not always specifically about weight. I mean, there are other things that people don't like about themselves, scars and birthmarks and all kinds of things that can make you feel not sexy. But two websites that really made a huge difference for me and that I direct a lot of people to. I direct a lot of guys to that I feel are becoming too disenchanted with or becoming too obsessed with the Photoshop images of what